Welcome to the Higson Rules Engine podcast. Here we talk about business rules technology and how this solution helps business move faster and smarter. Whether you're a tech or a business user, you're in the right place. Let's get into it. Today, my guest will be Marcin Nowak. Marcin, could you tell us something about yourself?
Hi, I'm founder of the Decerto, a software company specializing in the insurance industry and a company which created Higson, and I'm the product owner of this solution.
Okay. Could you tell us what inspired you to think about the solution such as business rule engine?
We were creating a lot of similar software. Every time the software needed a configuration part of it, and it was a file of or database, and this kind of configuration could be changed only by the developer. It takes a lot of time, and we wanted to have it quicker, cheaper. So we thought about tool that will have already screens for this administrative task, and we can move this task to business analysts and possibly people from the business department. So that's the cause of creating Higson.
Okay. And what inspired you to create it? What was the basis idea behind okay, let's create a business rule engine?
So as I said, there was cost related to changing things, and this cost also causes long time to market, meaning the time between someone has an idea what we need to change and when the change was made by the developer. So we thought, okay, there should be the better way to do it, and that was the main idea behind it, to shorten the time to market.
So, okay, we identified the problem about with the time to market, which is basically old news. Tell me, what, in your opinion, is the main reason that people in various companies don't approach this problem with the use of business rule engine? What is the main cause?
First of all, developers are creating software the way they can, they are able to. So they create code. It's the easiest solution that they can think about, and there is not, I would say, popular knowledge that there is a better way to do it. Because it's more complicated. The simplest way is to embed this in the code. Uh, so that's one reason. Second reason is there is plenty of rule engine on the market, and which one to choose? The choice is not easy one. So again, let's do it quickly in the code.
Okay, but once again, you mentioned developers, but if we look closer to the name of the business rule engine, there is a business in the name of it. Why business people are it's it should be logical that the business rule engine be used by the business people, don't you think?
And that's true. When you introduce business rule engine in your environment, the main benefit from using this software is to transfer this power to people from the business departments, maybe to some business analysts, but stay away from the developers, because every time you ask developer for the change, it takes a lot of time, because developers are busy. You need to wait in the line for your task to be implemented. Then you need to test your software, you need to release this software, and it takes plenty of time. So that's why it's faster to move this to business people. And also there is less problems with the communication, because if you create task for developer, you need to write it down, then somebody reads it and probably understands it a bit differently, and during the test you discover that it was implemented differently. And if you're implementing this without this proxy and communication, you probably will do it right for the first time. If not, it will be quicker to fix it by yourself.
Okay. But I have a business background in my history, and I know that using Higson is actually quite easy for me. I've done the initial training, and you have yourself you have a tech background, so it's even easier for you. But from my experience, I know when we, as a, let's say, certain company, we switch to another system or we add another system to our portfolio of usage, it could be scary, especially for the business user. Do you have any ideas or advices how to avoid this fear? How to not make but convince business user to use business rule engine without fears?
First of all, we are not claiming that everybody can modify rules. I usually say that if specific person can create complex formulas in Excel, that person should be okay with the business rules. So if you have someone who is not at least that techy, probably that person won't be either way a good candidate to modify these rules. But coming back to this a little bit techy persons, we we base our rules mainly on the decision tables. They are very similar to tables in the Excel files. So business users are quickly catching up how to use them. And also we provide trainings. Usually typical deployments look like this, that we create some sample rules, then provide user training, and then support users in creating more rules. So learning by doing.
Mhm. How about some other concerns? Let's say this time from the perspective of the tech savvy. When we use different systems, especially as external systems, there is a need of additional security. I mean, cybersecurity. How Higson and Decerto approach this topic?
Your data never leaves your environment, whether it's on-premise environment or in the cloud, because this is not software as a service. This is a solution you install in your environment. So the data is as secure as your environment is. And the second thing, we are conducting regular penetration tests of this software to make sure it's up to the current standards of security.
And could you tell us what is the usual cost of change of the rules?
Mm, Old way, meaning with developer, I would say even the simplest change can take as long as 20 to 10 to 20 man days because of this releasing software, testing, going back and forth. And with rule engine, it narrows down to hours. So the comparison is hours to man days. That's my point of view.
Mhm. Okay, we already touched some basic ideas about the business rule engine and the business rules itself, but maybe some our listeners are not familiar with the concept. So maybe you could be so kind and show us some simple example, like for a little kid, what a business rule is and how it may look. What's behavior? Some example of yours.
Okay, let's look from the top down. So from the top, some software needs to make a decision, and you're not embedding this decision in the code of the software, but you're extracting this decision to the rule engine. And in the rule engine, the decision looks very similar to if then statement. The simplest example I can think of is decision about fast track in claims. For example, if the claim is below $1,000 and policy is fully paid, all documents are correctly filled, you can pay it out right away. The main beauty of extracting this decision to the rule engine is that you can decide to change it in the matter of hours. You don't have to wait for the developers and the release of the software. So we can lower the threshold to $500 or add a new clause that the date of the event was shorter than a month. Basically, think about the rules as a table that describes what to do in certain cases.
Can you point for our listeners the main symptoms that can tell us that we actually need business rule engine?
If you have something that changes pretty frequently, like every few months, or a cost of not having this change quickly is big, those are the symptoms you should consider the business rule engine. Mm, Especially if you have to change for this, have to wait for this change a long time. I've seen some IT departments that can deliver changes very quickly. Maybe in that situation, that scenario, you don't need a rule engine. But if you have to wait, that's the symptom that you will benefit from the rule engine. I have an example. One of our customers needed 6 months just to change tariff. So
That's a lot.
yeah.
Okay. If you could, and if you may probably point three things that which make Higson stands out on the market.
First will be ease of use. We created nice structure for the rules, so you know where to find your rule you want to change. It's not a bucket of rules, it's nice structure. Second thing will be versioning. It's very important for regulated businesses to track all your changes, to have versions of your products. If you created an offer or you have new version of your product, you need to reflect this in your software. So we created pretty comprehensive versioning. And last but not least, maybe the first one is the great performance. We are performance freaks, and our rule engine is faster than other rule engine by 50 times.
But let me for a few seconds retract back to my one question before. I've mentioned the fear of the business users that will have the need to use the new tool. What if I make a mistake?
To make a mistake is a human thing. That's why we created a built-in tester. You can test your decisions right away. We have single test case scenario. This is handy when you create new rule, but we also have a batch tester. This one is great for regression tests. So we always advise customers to have a nice big pool of regression tests to run every time before releasing the configuration. And I mentioned releasing. All changes are local, and you decide when is the moment to publish them. So it's not like this, you already push something to the production. And the last thing is tracking of all the changes. We have a history of all changes. We see who and when was changed. We can revert to the previous versions. So even if you mess up, you can revert these changes and have a clean working configuration again.
Okay. We spoke about past, let's say we spoke about present, but maybe you could point what will face us in future with Higson. Are there some plans?
Of course, we are still developing the software, and for the nearest release in the autumn, we plan Higson flows. It's the new way of creating rules. You create a graph of decision, so you can model your decision visually. Because for today we have decision tables and functions. It's very nice, but some people like to visually plan their decision. So this is Higson flows. And also we are experimenting with AI. We want to allow users to embed their models into Higson to take part in the decision making.
To be honest, I cannot wait to see that at work. And tell me maybe what industries are the best fit for this kind of tool, the business rule engine. Is there some pointers, or what's your opinion?
We created Higson with insurance and finance industry in mind because this is our core industry. That Certo is doing projects over there. We have customers from other industries like health, airlines, and plenty of places where you need to change your decisions frequently and you have certain scales of these decisions.
Okay, and now with last question, I want to catch you off guard. What is the origin of the name? Why Higson?
This is not the first name for our solution. The first one was a kind of disaster. It was MPP, a module for product and parameters. It was, as I said, disaster. And then we were inventing new name because we are fans of science, physics. We named this after elementary particle, sometimes called God's particle, Higgs boson. That's why it's Higson.
Okay. Marcin, thank you for your time. I know that you were stretching to be our guest today. I hope we will be able to speak in the future after the new release, maybe. That's a wrap on today's episode, and thanks for your listening. Thank you, Marcin, once again. If you're curious to learn more about Rules Engine technology or Higson itself, check out the links in the episode descriptions. Thank you once more. Have a nice day.